nominate Honorable Tajuddin Abbas.
I so second.
I rise to humbly accept the nomination.
Is hereby declared the winner and returned elected as the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
The total sum of 28,777 billion.
National Assembly passes 2024 Appropriation Bill amidst calls for effective oversight.
In line with our standing orders and the legislative agenda.
And Speaker Tajuddin Abbas takes stock of the performance of the House, says, so far, so good. Happy New Year and compliment of the season. Welcome to another episode of House Ticket, your window into the House of Representatives. I am Rashida Abubakar standing in for your regular anchor. The National Assembly has passed the 2024 budget into law. House Ticket brings you reports on proceedings leading up to the passage of the budget. This alongside other activities during plenary complete our programs. Stay with us.
Hi, about that. The House will pay priority attention to participatory budgeting process and delivery, law reform, electoral reform, women's participation and inclusion in governance, among others.
Thanks for staying tuned. The House, during its special plenary session on Saturday, the 30th of December 2023, passed the 2024 budget of 28.7 trillion naira. For details of these and other events during plenary, let's take our first report as presented from our studio. Keep watching.
The House, during its special plenary session on Saturday, the 30th of December 2023, passed the 2024 Appropriation Bill into law. The total amount of the 2024 budget stands at 28,777,404,073,861 naira only. The lawmakers made an increase of over 1 trillion naira from the proposed budget of 27.5 trillion naira earlier submitted by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The breakdown of the 28.7 trillion naira for 2024 fiscal year is as follows. Statutory transfer over has 1.7 trillion naira, 8.2 trillion naira is for debt service, recurrent expenditure has 8.7 trillion naira and capital expenditure got 9.9 trillion naira.
The House do receive the report of the Committee on Appropriations.
As a prelude to the passage of the Appropriation Bill, Chairman, House Committee on Appropriation, Representative Abubakar Kabir Bichi, first moved a motion for the consideration of the 2024 budget report. With the motion seconded, the report was laid before the House. The House then dissolved into the Committee of Supply, which was co-chaired by the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker.
Honorable Bichi, are you ready? Please go ahead and give us the summary synopsis of this particular budget.
In preparing detail of the 2024 Appropriation Bill, the committee adopted the Medium-Term Expenditure Framework and Fiscal Strategy Paper, MTEP/FSP, approved by the National Assembly as shown below. Number 1, benchmark price of crude oil. Executive proposal, $76.96 US per barrel. National Assembly approval, 77.96 per barrel. Crude oil production, 1.78 million barrel per day. National Assembly approval, 1.78 million barrel per day. Exchange rate, $755 US, while National Assembly approval 800 naira per dollar. GDP growth rate 3.88%. National Assembly approval 3.88%. Budget deficit 9.18 trillion. while National Assembly 9.18 trillion.
As the stage was set, the 2024 Appropriation Bill was considered clause by clause.
Clause 1, which is issue an appropriation of 28 trillion 777 billion 404,073,861 naira from the consolidated revenue fund for 2024 carried. House has resolved back to plenary.
Back to plenary, the Speaker read the report of the Committee of Supply.
It is my pleasure to report that the House, in the Committee of the Supply, considered the report of the Committee on Appropriation on a bill for an act to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund from the Federation the total sum of 28 trillion 777 billion 404 million 73,861 naira.
The bill then skilled third reading and was passed.
While the sum of 9 trillion 995 billion 143,298 naira and 28 kobo and 28 naira is for contribution to the development fund for capital expenditure for the year ending 31st December 2024, third reading.
In a related development, the Speaker announced to the House the request of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the sanitization of the debit balance, ways and means in the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the federal government.
While the federal government is considering various measures to forestall the use of ways and means advances for domestic debt servicing, it has become highly imperative to securitize the outstanding ways and means advanced to the federal government of Nigeria before the end of the year 2023. The securitization of the ways and means will lead to the realization of the following benefits, among others. A, reduction of debt service cost, as the interest rate for the securitized ways and means advances is lower at 9% per annum compared to MPR plus 3%. B, the savings arising from the much lower interest rate could help to reduce the deficit in the budget. C, improvement in debt transparency, as securitized ways and means advances are included in the public debt statistics. In view of the foregoing, the House of Representatives is invited to kindly consider and approve the securitization of the outstanding debit balance of 7 trillion 388 billion naira in the CRF as of December 11, 2023. Please accept, Right Honorable Speaker, the assurances of my highest regards. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
This request was also considered at the Committee of Supply. Chairman, House Committee on Finance, Representative James Faleki, having laid its report, also read the synopsis.
Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues, we received a communication on the report of the Committee on Finance on the scrutinization of the debt balance, ways and means in the consolidated revenue of the federal government of Nigeria. This communication was, of course, received on the 30th. And after consideration, we presented the report for the consideration of the Committee of Supply to approve. So the House will present the report. The committee is hereby presented the report for the scrutinization of the outstanding debt balance of 7 trillion 388 billion 696 million 34 520.82 in the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation account as of December 11, 2023.
Honorable colleagues, this is a very simple consideration, the fact that there is only one clause, one item. So with your kind permission, I will just read it out for your own adoption and consideration. The clause that we need to actually
approve is that the House do approve the securitization of the outstanding debt balance of 7,388,696,034,520 naira in the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation as at December 11, 2023. Carried.
The report was considered and adopted at the committee level and plenary. At the end of the budget passage process, Representative Abubakar Bichi talked more about the jerking up of the budget from 27.5 trillion to 28.7 trillion naira.
As you know that we had an inflation and exchange rate for the dollar. The executive proposed 750 naira to the US dollars. But after we study carefully, we look at it like unrealistic. And because at the black market it's like 1,200, even official it's like 900. So we increased from 750 to 800. And also we had a meeting with the GOEs. We believe that their submission is not enough, so that they have agreed to increase their revenues to 700 billion. So when we increase that, we are able to get that to 1.2 trillion, which we applied in capital.
Other lawmakers also spoke on the expectations of Nigerians and their constituents on the budget.
And my hope is that this budget will have more impact on the rural areas, especially if you look at my constituency. For instance, is a constituency, in my constituency, one of the local governments, that is Kalabalga local government, is one of the 774 local governments that has never witnessed a road network, that has never witnessed electricity, that has never witnessed any federal government presence in that local government. And efforts were being made in the past to construct roads, to extend electricity facilities and all other amenities.
For us to implement it is our oversight that we're also determined. And as legislators, we are determined to go on proper oversight. We will make sure that all the agencies and ministries are on their toes for us to really put our best, because Nigerians are expecting so much from us.
Moving on to other matters during the special plenary session, Representative Ahmed Idris Wasi moved a motion on urgent public importance on the need to condemn and investigate the Christmas Eve killings in parts of Plateau State.
On 24th of December 2023, at about 22:44 hours, 3 villages in Bariki Ladi, namely Nti, Kurum, and Dawarat, were also attacked. Informed that the findings from the assessment of the ugly incident in Bokozo Gome area revealed that the total number of villages attacked were 12, 221 homes were set ablaze, 27 motorcycles were burned, 8 motor vehicles were burned down, and 79 persons were killed, while 17 deaths were recorded in Bariki-Ladi local government area of Plateau State.
The lives of Nigerians should begin to matter to us. Those over 100 persons in Jos that were killed could be our brothers and our sisters. In fact, any member of this parliament could have been there. Let us have that feeling. We can no longer fold our arms and watch these things happen. And every day we will stand here, take motions. We need to begin to act. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, this is not the first. This is not the second. It might not be the last unless something crucial is done.
As a resolution, the House directed the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to immediately assess the extent of damage and displacement in the attacked communities within the said local government areas with a view to providing necessary relief materials. Urged the Inspector General of Police to immediately conduct a detailed investigation into these attacks with a view to identifying the perpetrators and bring them to justice. Also urged the Honorable Minister of Defense to initiate a coordinated joint security operation within these local government areas and adjoining towns located in Plateau, Bauchi, Gombe, Taraba and Nasarawa states to flush out criminals and bandits and prevent them from escaping to other states.
May their soul rest in peace.
After observing a minute's silence for the departed souls, the motion was referred to the Committee on Defense, Army, Air Force, police and legislative compliance for more legislative action.
The program is House Ticket, and it's our first episode for the year 2024. Prior to deliberation and subsequent passage of the 2024 budget, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Representative Tajuddin Abbas, addressed the Green Chamber on how the 10th Assembly fared in 2023. Our next report therefore brings you the key takeaways from his speech. The report.
6 months since its inauguration, the 10th House of Representatives had received and considered 962 bills, out of which 120 bills have scaled second reading and referred to various committees for further legislative actions.
I want to take this opportunity to reflect on our achievements.
Speaker of the House of Representatives, Representative Tajuddin Abbas, said this while addressing lawmakers during plenary on Saturday, the 30th of December, 2023.
The House agenda identifies 8 priority areas, which have been carefully crafted to align with the renewed hope agenda of the executive and the yearnings of our constituents. The key areas of focus highlighted in the agenda are strengthening good governance, improving national security, economic growth and development, social sector reform and development, inclusion and open parliament, influencing, directing Nigeria's foreign policy, and addressing climate change and environmental sustainability. The chosen thematic areas were aggregated in consultation with citizens. Our legislative outputs in the last 6 months are remarkable. We considered a wide range of issues, including peace and security, social welfare, healthcare, education, infrastructural developments, economic growth, and more. Through robust debates, bipartisan collaboration, and dedication to our constitutional responsibilities, we have passed crucial bills and resolutions that will shape the trajectory of our nations for years to come.
Among the bills are Electricity Act Amendment Bill 2023, the Federal Audit Service Act Amendment Bill 2023, Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons Bill 2023, Administration of Criminal Justice Act Repeal and Enactment Bill 2023, as well as Niger Delta Development Commission Act Amendment Bill 2023.
The Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2023 that we passed was assented to by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on 23 November 2023. It repealed the 1964 legislation and replaced it with a more contemporary legislation that empowers the Defense Corporation to manufacture, store, and dispose of ordnance. All these bills are intended to provide immediate relief and long-term solutions to the challenges that have plagued our society.
He said other bills have been sent to the Senate for concurrence. On motions, the Speaker stated that over the same period, 500 motions have been passed and over 150 petitions were attended to by the lawmakers. He noted that members at the Green Chamber have lived up to the mantra of the People's Parliament. Notable themes of the motion the House considered include oil theft, student loans, job racketeering, COVID-19 fund management, and firearms.
I've also considered motions to be one of the most potent tools of legislative representation. They show that the legislature, better than any other institution, is best placed to articulate the needs of the people and how to address them. In response to the issues raised, the House constituted ad hoc committees to conduct investigative hearings and make recommendations for necessary legislative actions. I'm glad to announce that out of the 30 ad hoc committees, 25 have laid their reports before the House for consideration.
Speaker Tajuddin Abbas said the House had reviewed its rules in line with global standards and also to encourage participation of all in the lawmaking process.
From the onset, we deliberately adopted a leadership model that is open, transparent, impartial, and inclusive. This approach is intended to enhance public trust and accountability, encourage participation, facilitate better decision-making, and promote new ideas to make the legislature more effective in discharging its constitutional mandate.
He stressed that Electoral Act amendment and other bills will be priority of the House in 2024, lamenting the number of ongoing election cases at the courtrooms.
The House recognizes the importance of electoral reforms in strengthening our democratic institutions. Consequently, we took the initiative to take the lead in soliciting citizens' input on the Electoral Act 2022 and recommendations on strengthening it to deliver more free and fair elections and reduce the judiciary's influence on the electoral processes.
He also appreciated the support of members of the House and development partners for the achievements recorded so far at the Green Chamber.
I'm confident that with our collective resolve and commitment, we will continue to make significant strides in advancing the prosperity and well-being of our nation. Dear colleagues, before I conclude these remarks, let me register my appreciation to our development partners, donor agencies, and civil society organizations that have contributed to the success of the work of the House through capacity building and technical support.
On a sad note, the Speaker announced the deaths of some lawmakers or their relatives, including its former Speaker, Gali Umar Na'abba, and the late Governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu. With this, the lawmakers observed a minute's silence in honor of the departed souls.
May their soul rest in peace.
The House has adjourned plenary until the 23rd of January 2024.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The nays can join the DS next week for another round. But we are going on our dessert break. Thank you.
This is where we draw the curtains on this episode of House Ticket. Thank you for staying with us, hoping that this year will yield more of the dividends of democracy to the people. Once again, compliments of the season and a happy new year.